Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emmanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt the shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emmanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. I am Emmanuel Rose, and today I'm joined by Brad Kugler, CEO and co-founder of DM20.com and DM20.ai, and Who's Mailing What. Brad has spent the last 8 years building a performance technology stack for direct mail marketers, helping brands connect data, creative, targeting, and measurement into campaigns that can be tracked and optimized. Before moving into marketing technology, Brad worked in e-commerce across package media, including, what are these? CDs, DVDs, and video games. That was ancient times. We're talking about where direct mail fits into an AI-driven marketing strategy, how performance marketers should think about attribution, and what brands can do to make offline channels work harder. Brad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Great to be here. I love the intro, and thank you for that. You put me up on a pedestal there, so hopefully I can deliver.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny that direct mail has continued to be one of my secret weapons through this whole digital transformation. So it's always fun to talk to somebody else who understands what goes on with the old direct mail.
I come from, well, I don't know about direct mail route, but as you mentioned, I sold CDs, DVDs, and before that VHS in a family business, and grew that with my father and my brothers from nothing to $25 million.
Wow.
And then, of course, I wrote it all the way back to zero in
Yeah.
2016, 2017. So that was, I'll give you this, I learned a lot more on the way down than I did on the way up.
Well, you had to get a lot scrappier as you're trying to fight for sales, right?
Yeah. And I'll tell you that one of the things I noticed, we did something really different in the entertainment wholesale business that we had in the 90s. My baby brother, who's now 52 years old, by the way, I'm 59, he said, let's send these postcards of disasters, all right? Like trains going off of a bridge, sunken ships in harbors, big high-rise fires, all these black and white 1930s, 1940s images on a big postcard. And we would send these to video stores. And what we did is we would buy out video stores that were being liquidated or going out of business.
Yeah.
And this postcard did amazing for us year after year after year until the industry kind of went down the tubes. But that was my first realization. Wow, this direct mail stuff, it really works,
Yeah.
Shorten that story, we were obviously disrupted and I needed to find a new gig, and this is how I found this business.
Well, it's interesting. So what sort of brands right now are you primarily focused on doing DM for?
So in my 10 years of being in the technology space of direct mail, and I want to clarify, I don't print or mail anything. We are providing a technology layer that reports, enhances, and lifts direct mail through a bunch of digital technologies. There's 4 major sweet spots for direct mail that are typically education, finance, home services, and nonprofits. Okay.
Yeah.
Why? High ticket items where the average order size is greater than $1,000 is really what justifies direct mail. I would never recommend a pizza shop to send 5 or 10,000 pieces of direct mail at almost $1 each.
Yeah, sure.
For a $25 pizza. Doesn't work. So
you got to, that's a big, a huge number of clients you got to create in order to cover that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And direct mail response rate typically is about 1%. And
Okay.
through some very interesting uses of technology, which we'll get into, we usually get a lift of about 50%. So that means that doesn't mean you get a 50% response rate. That means
Oh,
you go
darn.
from 1% to 1.5%. Okay. People, we've had customers go, I didn't get a 50% response rate. I'm like, all right,
Yeah. Okay. Let's
let's
go back to. We don't want to go back to math class. That's for
yeah.
sure. Well, that's interesting. So, I mean, a 50% bump from 1 to 1.5, especially if you have a high ticket item, can be the difference
Huge.
between ROI, no ROI, and continuing the campaign, right?
Absolutely. I mean, imagine you're selling, $90,000 Land Rovers. You sell one extra. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a paid for the thing a couple times over just to mail a few thousand cards,
Yeah.
postcards.
So how does it work? Because right now, we've always done the like, hey, we'll use a different phone number. We'll put in, please bring this card in the tag as the CTA. We might have a QR code that's just for that piece of DM. So what is it that you're doing that's different than kind of the duct tape system of attribution?
A lot of those things. Probably one of the things that most people aren't aware of because they've seen QR codes and text back numbers. Nobody has to bring their mail piece in anymore.
No.
You can even uh, resolve if someone brings their phone in. You match that back to their home address, and then you have instant attribution to the mail piece through address resolution. So there's a lot of technology now that improves that. So not only could you have a QR code for the offer, you can have an individual QR code for that guy who received that piece of mail.
Oh,
You
interesting.
know the guy.
Yeah.
Or if they text back, that, what is it? Caller ID number is then resolved back to an address or that guy on the mailing list. So a lot of things that 7, 8, 9 years ago, it was kind of a hope and a prayer to attribute back to a mail is done instantly in real time now. Even so much as the phone call is recorded and AI looks at the call and alerts the owner of the company that this was a failed close, and then someone else gets on. I mean, there's a lot of technology, and we are that technology layer. We are not involved in the logistics or manufacturing of the ink on paper.
Yeah, I got you. No, that's cool. So walk me through a little bit the mechanics of this. So I have an optometrist that is a concierge optometrist. Their average sales probably $2,500 because people are buying Gucci or Maui Jim or something when they go in and do the thing. So I'm sending is 1,500 pieces of mail in a metro enough to do a realistic test?
We like to go 25, 5,000 minimum. That's where we encourage people. And we also, marketing is a repetitive game. One
Yep.
time mailing, you got to warm them up.
Yep.
So we like to see 25 to 5,000. We like to see a commitment to mail 3 times. And then what we do on top of that is we layer in some of the technologies we've already talked about. We have a marketing stack that includes 15 different technologies. And I won't give anything from landing pages to follow-up emails to a little piece of magic the post office put in a few years ago called Informed Delivery, where you get a preview of your mail and you can click on it
Yep.
and bring you right to the offer. We do programmatic digital, where we target the devices of the person receiving the mail.
Oh, interesting.
We do retargeting. So if they went to the website, we then
Yep.
follow them around for 30 days. We do, as I said, de-anonymizing and address resolution for random guys who go to a website and don't click on a link or don't do a QR code. They just type it in so that we
Yep.
can resolve that back.
Yep.
We do personalized landing forms. So somebody goes to a landing page, it fills in or pre-notes their information because it's a personalized page based on a code. So all of these technologies we bundle into one place for the advertiser. And that's what we found is a up to 50% lift in response rate. Now,
Right.
I clarify response rate because it's very common for a guy to walk into the high-end sunglass shop and, ruin the customer experience through some rudeness or ignorance. And we did our job. So
MQL.
yes,
MQL is not SQL, baby.
100%. So we track engagement rate. If we
Yeah.
got a receiver of a message to engage with that campaign to the point they showed interest, whether it's a landing page, a QR code, a phone number, gone to a website, we've done our marketing job.
Yeah.
If the advertiser is not up to par or the website's not up to par, then you have to lay accountancy where the sale fell through.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah.
Marketing is hard enough
the
without
constant
sales.
battle between marketing and sales, and we
100%.
know this one. Yeah. And the sales team always wants the marketing team to close them, and then they can just take the order.
Yeah. And the marketing team gets blamed if the sales falls apart. And the sales, of course, are always blaming the marketing for not bringing enough leads.
Yeah.
So
and they want the Glengarry leads on top of it.
Yeah, 1,000%. So we're pretty good at isolating our responsibility and delivering on those promises, or most of the time. As you know, there's no guarantees in marketing, not really, but we try to live up to the projections. And I'll tell you one of the key metrics that we try to rely on. That is the impressions per mail piece. The more repetition, the more likelihood of engagement. Assuming your message, your offer's good. So we like to see, for every piece of mail that we put our technology on, we're looking for 8 to 12 impressions with that individual. Okay.
Yeah.
One piece of mail in the mailbox, that does work sometimes. But if you're following up with 8 to 15 other potential engagement platforms or resources, now you've increased that ROI significantly. So we're trying to get into that person's household 8 to 15 times.
And so that becomes a true multi-channel marketing tool. And we know it takes that 8 to 12 touches in order to trigger a response. So
yes,
that's interesting. So what is direct mail on its own is relatively expensive.
Yes.
To get it up, spooled up and running. So then what does it look like when we use your DM20 tech stack?
And the value prop's real simple. So we think we promote that for an extra 8 to 20 cents per piece, and again, it depends on the volume, we're going to get you that lift. Okay. Yeah. So if you're spending $1 at Target, and now at maximum we'll ask you to spend $1.20 at Target, we're going for that 50% lift. That's our target. We're gonna give you the 8 to 12 additional impressions.
Right.
I can't guarantee you the guaranteed lift, but we're pretty good at delivering those additional impressions.
Yeah, I love it. And then tell me some of the success stories you've had recently. What's been some of the great stories that you're telling prospects?
Well, I'll give you a new product that we DM20.ai. All right.
Yeah.
So we've got, and I'll set the stage. We've got 6-8 years worth of data, 80,000 campaigns, 2.1 billion pieces of mail.
Jeez.
And not just the campaigns, we have the engagement data on them, not by individual, but by household. And that's only because of privacy with our advertisers. So sure. I can tell you who in that household engaged with that campaign, and we've built our own graph. So we built a model that basically digitizes a creative, if you're the advertiser, picks it apart with 18 different parameters, compares it by zip code and vertical to a similar mailing and a similar vertical, and we plot what we estimate that piece of mail will generate in terms of an engagement rate. Yep. Is it, hopefully it's above the 1.0 to 1.5% national average.
Right.
And, if it gets to be around 2%, well, that's really good. So we compare what is the bulk of the campaigns done that lifted that campaign higher, that got it a higher engagement rate. And then we digest and we spit out a model for that advertiser of what they could change, whether it's time of mailing, whether it's household type, related to their ICP, or it's something stupid like, oh, put a QR code on there.
Right. Yeah.
And we spit that out. And we've just launched this product, and we've gotten people to come back and said, this really worked. We changed the mailing. Our rate went up by double in terms of our engagement rate. And those things are great stories. And we've got, from our marketing platform, we have fantastic results. We're particular one about a college who got double the applications for new fall students. So we have, when we've done 80,000 campaigns, a few come to mind, but I've got dozens on my webpage of studies. But it does work. The only way that it's guaranteed not to work is not to use it, not to mail, not to,
That's right.
There's very few instances, and I won't pretend they've never happened, where someone says, I got no lift. And every time we've dug into that, it's not a scientific A/B study, because they mailed the same thing to the same people. One, they used our platform, and one they didn't. And I'm like, well, which one did you do first? Well, we did yours first, and then we mailed again without it. I'm like, okay, well, there's memory here. You're hitting the same households again. No fair.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, you got to go apples to apples. Yeah. So I can take my direct mail piece. I'm running two pieces. One is the EDDM postcard. One's a first class letter with trifold. I can take both of those pieces and put them into dm20.ai and get some feedback from your 80,000 mails. Oh my God. Better, if we were in the same room, I'd kiss you right now, Brad. That's
even so better, it's free, a free trial. It allows you to try. We use our own, obviously, algorithm based on our proprietary data. Then we go out to Gemini and chat. We send them the same data, have them come up with conclusions. And then we take both of those conclusions and we run it through Claude, and we have Claude sort of reconcile the highs and the lows and come out with a sort of a combined report. We do that for a free trial for nothing. Yeah. We allow you to make changes to the creative or targeting and submit a second one and see what the deltas were and what changed based on your changes. And we offer one of those for free, and then we ask you to pay after that.
That seems pretty fair. Well, I'm going to have to go Cadillac on this one because I care about this client too much. So I'm going to get the pro analysis on both pieces. Is that one campaign?
No.
Do I have to pay twice, or do I have to pay once?
Well, the free trial, you get two on the same campaign.
Okay.
All right. But if it's two different companies, you get one free trial. Listen, I know the owner. I may be able to slide you credit for a second one, for putting me on your show. So don't worry about it.
What we'll do is I'll run it through. I'll get an experience here. We'll send it out. I'll keep track on we'll keep track together, right, on the campaign.
Yep. And then, well, I don't know your results. If you don't use that platform is independent. If people don't want to use our whole platform, they just want to run tests. We've sort of put that in its own bucket.
Okay.
And then, we have a third platform, which is called who'smailingwhat.com, where, let's say you're same thing. We'll use the eyeglass place, search eyeglass places in your area, see who's mailing what. Literally, it will show you. It'll give you some stats on how many times they've mailed the same piece and kind of where they're going. And we can extrapolate sort of a model to see how many they're mailing based on what our panelists have sent into us. We've AI-ified all this, and you can just have a conversation with the plain language searches instead of these Boolean click filters. That stuff is all for the dogs now.
That's not 1988 as it should be.
Yeah. So we're just switching over to all of that plain language search, which people love, and you can check on what your competition is doing. So and then improve that. So we call it a competitive intelligence tool.
All right.
Well, that also has a free trial, of course. We allow you to look up, do 10 searches, and then we ask you to pay because we got to keep the lights on. I got to pay my people every week, and I got kids in college.
So. That's the most expensive part.
Yeah. They're almost done. I've got one left. All
right. Yeah, I got you. Well, really, really cool take on direct mail, and I'm glad you're doing it, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'll invite you back on the show later this fall and talk about what I found out by using the
I'd love to hear it.
services.
I'd love to hear it. Like I say, whatever version we're using on the platform is the worst version it'll ever be. So
yeah, for sure.
Feedback is taken and appreciated.
Isn't it amazing? Just the marketing world that we get to live in now.
It is. It's almost overwhelming because there's so much new tools and information and technology coming at you from every way, and it's hard to keep up with. I mean, even for me, who's in the business,
Yeah, it is. It is hard to keep up with, but it's super exciting to be able to leverage the AI backbone and make our wild ass guesses as marketers a little bit tidier, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, there's so many variables in marketing. There's people talk about the 3-body problem with 3 gravitic bodies in space and not being able to predict an outcome because it's chaos. Imagine a piece of marketing that could have 100 different variables.
Sure.
How do you really predict that with any sort of accuracy? You know?
Yeah. No, we just keep trialing, testing, and iterating, right?
Yep.
And
then there's that old marketing fatigue, something that worked for months. All of a sudden, it's like not pulling it as well as it used to.
Yeah. But 80,000 campaigns is pretty good data set.
And we're updating it every 6 weeks too with new campaigns.
Wow, that's cool. I love it, Brad. I really appreciate it. DM20.ai. I'll take a look at that one. I'll also look at who's mailing what.com. And then dm20.com. That's your done for you service.
That is. And I'll throw out a little freebie for everyone. I'm got into vibe coding. Marketingtest.ai. Marketingtest.ai. You can put in whatever you're doing, whether it's just your website or if you want to upload your email campaign or you want to upload your mailing piece. It will give you a feedback on what you're doing right or wrong for anything you're doing in marketing. All right.
I love it. Well, good stuff. I appreciate your time today, and I'll reach back out and we'll do a second show. That'll be a follow up on my results.
Looking forward to it, Manuel. Good or bad, I want to hear about it.
All right. That sounds great, Brad. Thanks again for your time, and we'll talk soon.
Take care.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.